Very good question. He's a better prospect at this age than Frondell. Frondell's 3 with a bullet in that group for me. Like that's not a difficult decision. I know you're coming at it from as a Blackhawks sort of Blackhawks adjacent. So I'm sorry to
No,
sort
I
of
agree. I agree.
give you that news. But no, Frondell, I think Stenberg is closer to Leo than he is to Frondell. I wasn't and have not to this point been quite as high on Leo Carlsson as people in hockey, but I'm putting together my prospect tiers, which is an annual project that I do at The Athletic, where I start by building buckets and placing prospects into buckets, a lot like our player tiers that Dom does. I use the same tiers as him. It's sort of a joint project that Dom and I are now doing together. And I've just said, just to go back a little bit, and I'll get to your question. I send the prospect tiers out to people, to scouts, to 15 to 20 scouts, and I ask them to move guys around and let them sort of shape the list. So it's less my list, more theirs. And it's trying to build a consensus on where these players project, what type of player they project into. And 2 years running, when I've done prospect tiers, I've placed Leo Carlsson at sort of the top of the all-star tier for me, which is the third tier that we use, sort of a high-end all-star type projection. And each year they've come back to me that the tiers above all-star are sort of the MVP, so top 10 player in the world, and then franchise, so sort of top 30, 35 player in the world, and then all-star is sort of top 60 player in the world. I've always viewed him as more of an all-star than a franchise type. Every year the feedback from scouts has been this guy's a low-end franchise type. So they think that Leo Carlsson can become somewhere between the 20th and 30th best player in the world. And that is high praise. That is a point per game, first line center all day long. I haven't quite been able to get there. I just don't think he plays with all that much jam. He's obviously lengthy, and he's got skill, and he's got poise, and he's going to be a very productive top of the lineup player in the NHL. That's not what I'm sort of trying to get at here. But he doesn't, to use the Ducks for an example, I don't think he has that sort of that identity that a Ryan Getzlaf had for them, or that identity that a Corey Perry had for them. I'm not sure he's your number one player on a Stanley Cup winning team kind of thing. But there are people who believe he is that. And it's still early in conversations with people on Stenberg. I think people view Stenberg as a premium winger prospect. Stenberg compares himself to Tim Stützle, and I can kind of see a path to him being Tim Stützle. If he is Tim Stützle, then and let's say Carlsson is the player that people think he can become, then they're probably comparable. I think Stützle's what, a 70, 80, 90 point player in the league. If people clearly believe that Carlsson can get to that level. I'm not sure on Carlsson. I do think that Stenberg can get there, though. I'm a big fan of Ivar. He is the thing about Ivar is, on top of the one-timer on the power play and the hands and the playmaking and all of the offensive elements, he is very, very strong on pucks. I think it's an extremely underrated quality in Ivar early on. One of the things that impresses me most about Stenberg's game is his wall play, his ability to protect with one hand on his stick, his ability to get up and under sticks and steal pucks off of people along the wall. He's a really sneaky, strong kid, a lot like Stützle is in some ways. I would probably grade Stenberg and Carlsson as equal prospects at this stage, and then have Frondell a little bit lower. But I think there's a world where Stenberg, if Carlsson doesn't meet his potential and just becomes, let's say, a 65 point player or 65 to 70 point player, I think there's a world where Stenberg's potentially a notch above that. He's the second best prospect in this draft for me, and I have him, to start the year at least, I have him ahead of Verhoff.